going to invite Helen to come forward and present some of her initial research.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Helen Hambly-Odame. I'm a faculty member at the University of Guelph in OAC, the Ontario Agricultural College, and I'm in an area known as agricultural extension, but work more broadly on issues of agricultural and rural innovation. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the partnership we have with Monieson Centre in terms of looking at a slightly different part of Ontario. So I'll make a bridge over to from Eorn, over from East Ontario to south and west of the GTA. And south and west of the GTA, we don't talk about a general population coverage data set as being very useful to our research. We need to look very specifically at something called the age dependency ratio that defines the actual nature of the population in this area. We have numbers in south and west of the GTA, and we consider this area of the province to be southwest, and then the Golden Horseshoe down through the Niagara Peninsula to be south when we talk about south and west. And you can see here with the age dependency ratio the importance of not overgeneralizing what the population is, who the population is, and the importance of looking at variables. For instance, in this morning's discussion around wage may not be a very relevant variable in some of the areas where we talk about internet uptake and the impact factors of broadband investment. So we are looking at areas that have a certain amount of diversity to them. We also recognize that the technologies have changed over a period of time very rapidly. This point was made in previous presentations today to reinforce the fact that we don't have a lot of history to go back on. And in fact, we're looking at this sort of yellowy-green era of 2005 onwards. But at the same time, thinking about not looking only at the outcomes during the current period, but also down the road. And I'll talk a little bit more about the picture 2020 and beyond, where we're seeing more media convergence, mobile becoming absolutely essential to this part of the province. I would like to make mention of some of the major investments that have been made in south and west of the GTA, primarily rural connections, the investment from the province of Ontario through OMAFRA, $31.4 million plus a 2-to-1 match on that funding, and initial investments under the Community Access Program as well. With the technological shift that you see at the lower part of the slide, you can also sort of appreciate the fact that some of the outcome information that we're interested in tracking actually has not necessarily everything to do only with broadband, but through computer-enabled media use generally. And as I said, I'll speak more specifically about the current issues around mobile satellite-based systems. Our work at the University of Guelph within the OAC is really focused on impact for agri-food innovation. We consider agri-food innovation to be a very worthwhile area to look at, primarily because of the bigger impact on the Ontario economy. So agriculture and food industry being the second largest sector provincially for the economy, and that these areas are two of the areas, agri-food, that are experiencing tremendous change and benefit from connectivity. I put some examples here from some of the work that we're tracking around crop and livestock operations, decision support models, everything from operating your barn, being able to operate your barn from outside the barn, early warning systems, precision agriculture, which reduces the use of agrochemicals in the natural environment, as well efficiency gains that we can track around electronic ordering, information services that are online, weather forecasts, and also access to market information for agri-food innovators. The research that we're involved with is starting to chart, it's okay, starting to chart, it's very normal because I deal with students who are always there's no age differential here.
Another meeting.
So some of the challenges that we're interested in terms of tracking are summarized here. One of them is the dilemma of cost and quality of service. So here, south and west of the GTA, both anecdotal but also now increasingly documented evidence of the annoyance factor of of what does $50 buy, for example. And we can see some of the changes here or some of the issues here that are underway with the cost versus quality of service issue that is making many agri-entrepreneur types upset. And the other aspect that I wanted to emphasize was that the mobile service being seen now as quality of service, and that there is a broadband app of these, sorry to play on words, but there's a sense now anecdotally and increasingly with the documentation of our case studies to see that rural users are adjusting their behavior and expectations based on the lack of fixed access services. So these are some of the issues that we're tracking with the studies. There are opportunities, though, at the same time. So whereas we as academics, we look at the negatives, I think it's also very important to look at signs of encouraging change on the landscape right now. We have tracked data that shows there is a correlation between the Premier's agro-innovation winners and access to high-speed internet. And we see similar correlations, but within the subsector of rural health, we certainly can see some encouragement there around education, distance education, and distance education not just for the youth, where that age dependency ratio is important, but distance education for the retraining and for accessing online manuals for agri-entrepreneurs, which can be really important where things like equipment maintenance can be concerned. Employment searches, southwest of the GTA, you have much greater economic diversification at the farm or household level in rural areas. So employment searches being really key here, especially around seasonal labor. And then finally, the buy and sell and the e-business applications for innovators. So that's everything from buying supplies and parts for your farm equipment to being able to run an online niche market that sells a particular type of mushroom, or encouraging agritourism for people from urban areas. So we are seeing some tremendous opportunities from the connectivity. One of our case studies, we have two case studies. One of our case studies is Wellington County. This is based on the Master of Science research work supported by the Shared Monieson Center program with Wilson Holder. And I know Wilson's here in the room, but we just keep your hand up, he's up at the back of the room, so you can see Wilson specifically. Wellington County is at the heartland of the south and the west of the GTA area. You can see that where we are at the University of Guelph, on the main campus of Guelph, down at the southern end, we are located close enough to the 401 to have 401 corridor effects. So this is part of our analysis as well, is to look at that impact. But the generalizations about what happens further north of the 401 doesn't necessarily apply in Wellington County. And so we just use some of the speed data available through MDTI and UCLA to show you a little bit about the fact that there are still big issues around just north of Guelph around download and upload speeds. Some of the findings of the work are presented here. I'm not going to go through them in detail, but I do want to mention that right now we're really interested in this behavioral pattern among agri-entrepreneurs which are using cross-platform uses. And so here's where we would like to see some investment in terms of both research and discussions with public and private partners to look at opportunities for the cross-platform use for agricultural and food entrepreneurship. As well, I think I just want to point out here that we are seeing in the health sector something a little bit differently, where the academic term is disruptive innovation, where you're making major leaps rather than a series of progressing across technology. So you're jumping and creating a large technological change is creating a large social change. And we're seeing this in rural health care. We're not yet able to track any specific examples in agri-food, but at this point in rural health care, we are seeing some of the cases of disruptive innovation. Wilson kindly put this table together, so I think I'll get Wilson at some point to talk to people in more detail. But the part of his analysis that is really interesting to the wider research team is how do I know what I don't know? Something that's happening in agri-food, which is quite unique, is that as new generations of agri-entrepreneurs or experience the increase in connectivity both through fixed and terrestrial and satellite-based systems, that they're starting to understand what it can do for them, and they're starting to innovate with their entrepreneurial activities. So we're starting to see that this is a self-fulfilling policy, or prophecy rather. How do I know what I don't know? When I find out, when I do know, I can do something different. And we're interested in seeing this type of qualitative change within rural societies south and west of the GTA. Just to conclude, we're urging Ontario south and west of the GTA to continue the discussion. I'm very pleased that Serge Leroy from SWIA is here, and SWIA, the Southwest Economic Alliance, has taken a major role in the lower part of south and west of the GTA in terms of mobilizing different stakeholders. The Western Wardens Caucus has presented a RFP, a request for proposal, and has fulfilled that now with a consultant to flesh out where the WOWC will go with their investment decision making. We're very pleased to see that OMAFRA has recently confirmed that University of Guelph will do a meta-analysis of the rural connections investments. These are originally 52 but 51 projects, and we'll look at a meta-analysis of that data over the next 8 months. And also monitoring the ongoing and new investments. The work that Kathy's doing, we're supporting that with the search for indicators and getting these online as soon as investment decision making is being made. And awareness building, still very important in the south and west of the GTA, especially at the municipal level, recognizing the importance of data and research to basically inform decision making as well, so evidence-based decision making. And then finally, keep capturing those opportunities that show promise, build on these. So when we found out the link between the agri-food premiers, agri-food innovators, and we can see the connection that internet played in that innovation process, being able to document those and bring them to the wider public to say that rural broadband may not have been declared an essential service, but in our lives it's becoming more essential all the time. Thanks very much.